Hello and welcome to Coding with Stephen. Today we're going to be working through one of our JavaScript basics challenges called Is It a Palindrome? Now before we get started, up here in front of me there's a whole set of instructions which you'll find a link to in the video description just on how to get yourself set up and how to get your development environment set up so that it looks exactly like mine does here as we're working through the tests. First things first then, let's head over to the instructions file which you'll find within the Is It a Palindrome challenge, and this will give us an idea as to what we need to do for this particular one. It says challenge is to complete the function is a palindrome. The function takes one argument, a string, and returns true if the string is a palindrome being something that reads the same forwards as backwards. So for example, the word OLLO would return true as it's the same backwards and forwards. We've also got a set of tests associated with this challenge. You can run them just by copying and pasting this command into your terminal, and that'll tell you if the code that you've written does what this test is expecting it to. Obviously they've failed to begin with because we've not actually written any code to get started. So let's head over and we'll do that now. So we've got our is a palindrome function, takes one argument which is a string. We know that it needs to return true or false, true being if the word is the same backwards as it is forwards. So what we're going to do, it's a relatively easy challenge to solve. So we know that we're going to be wanting to return our string, and we're going to use our triple equals operator to check that it is exactly the same. And then what we're going to be using is a couple of functions associated with string to help us reverse it so that we can see if it's the same backwards as it is forwards. And those functions are going to be a function called split, which takes a single argument which says which characters to split a string on. For what we need it to do, we'll just split the string on every single character, and that will give us an array to work with. And then an array actually has a really useful function built into it called reverse, which takes an array and reverses it. And then once we've got our reversed array, we can then join those entries back into a string using the same delimiter as we have for splitting. So that means that it'll join every single character without any spaces or without any characters in between to join them on. So that should do what we need it to do. So we're just going to give that one, we're just going to save that one there, and we'll run our tests again just to make sure they pass, and we get 4 passing tests there, which is great. What I'd recommend doing is I always, whenever I'm looking at something, a new challenge or something like that, and I'm unfamiliar with the functionality that certain bits have in JavaScript, I use the Mozilla documentation just to have a look. And for this particular one, you can head over and have a look at the split method, which will give you a bit of an idea as to what you can do with split. So I'd recommend checking out some documentation, familiarizing yourself with it, as split is a really useful function in day-to-day programming as well. But once you're done filling your code, run your tests, and once they're all passed, you're good to go.